Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review, this time of Army Builders from Star Wars Black Series. An Empire Strikes Back 40th Anniversary figure, a Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary figure, and a Clone Commando from Star Wars The Bad Batch. And I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to start with the Clone Commando. I think he's a Walmart exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've gotten him. I don't have any of the other Bad Batch characters from this wave in their new uniforms, but hopefully I can get a hold of them. I don't know if I'm super interested in getting a hold of them, but they're always sort of on my list, in the back of my mind. The Clone Commando comes with a backpack and a blaster. It's part of the plastic-free packaging campaign. Of course, the 40th anniversary figures don't have that, but they do have the same image on the card that they did on the originals back in the 80s. Or, yeah, Empire was 80, and then Return was 83, I think. So yeah, that would be 80s. It has the same image on the card that it did in the 80s, which is really cool. It's a really nice touch to go back in time and sort of retouch those cards, and it has a little Kenner logo, which doesn't mean anything anymore because Kenner is Hasbro now. But it is very cool to have that. It has the little 40th anniversary sticker right on there. It's shiny. The 40th anniversary logo is printed on the Return of the Jedi ones, which is better, I think. The AT-AT driver is just an old favorite. The AT-AT driver, for whatever reason, I just really like the AT-AT driver. I have no idea. There's something about characters that have the gray uniforms, like the Stinger driver from G.I. Joe, and things that, you know, and it could also be that the drivers were less popular than the other characters, so maybe they were a little easier to get, and maybe I was the only one who had one of the drivers because everybody else was sort of focused on the main heroes. And I said, I'll get an AT-AT driver. I'll be cool. And of course, AT-AT drivers, you know, are like Stormtroopers. They die super easy. So when you're playing with your friends are always like, "You're dead. That's how it happens in the movies." And you're like, that's not that. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So those are 3 army builders I'm looking forward to opening. I've got versions of the AT-AT driver and the Stormtrooper in earlier waves. I have the first figures that ever came out for the 6-inch Stormtrooper and for the 6-inch AT-AT driver, but I couldn't resist getting more because they're army builders, man. Why wouldn't you get more? Unfortunately, this is the only Clone Commando I have. So as far as army building goes, he's probably the only one I'll get. But for these guys, who knows? They release them in another 5 years. I'll probably get them again. I don't know. But they look great in the package. Let's bust them out of their package and see how they look in person. Now that we've got them out of the package, let's take a closer look at our army builders. First, let's start with the Stormtrooper because he's classic, right? Stormtroopers have been coming out since 1977. They've always been awesome. Hasbro keeps making little improvements here and there. In this case, no holster on the belt for the Stormtrooper, which is nice. I hated the look of it. I didn't like that at all. I like just the blaster. It used to come with the long rifle, and that was cool too. But in the package that it came in, it was trying to closely simulate the original as possible. And the original, of course, was just a Stormtrooper, no holster, and the blaster, which is very cool. Blaster is just classic. He and the AT-AT driver have the same blaster. Like I said, just amazing, classic. I said amazing and classic too many times, I think. The armor is everything you'd want it to be. Shiny, and in the dark places it looks like it's tough, but it's more cloth-like than in the in previous incarnations, like the vintage series. It all looked one piece. It was all white, but you can see the black is broken up a little bit into the places where the armor breathes a little bit. Of course, that's all the the places where it's vulnerable too. But on the AT-AT driver, it looks like everything's vulnerable on him because he's just wearing clothes with maybe an upper armor piece in case you blast through the cockpit of the AT-AT. He could probably absorb a little bit of a laser fire, but his, if he got out and he got hit below that, he'd be a goner. The Clone Commando, on the other hand, is just like the Stormtrooper, except that, just like the Stormtrooper. We'll take a closer look at him in a little bit. Let's go over the articulation of this Stormtrooper. First, I love the detailing on the helmet. The different colors, the detailing throughout. I've always liked that. I don't know what it is or what it means or anything, but it's on all the figures. I don't know what that is, but it's always been a part of the Stormtrooper's armor. I don't know if it was on previous incarnations on the belt, but this is really cool. Head up, not bad. Head down, pretty good. Pretty good side to side. He has a joint on the neck and on the head. So it's sort of a dumbbell joint. So he can look way down now. And he can look... He still doesn't look up great. Even with the sort of the dumbbell joint. Ugh, that's more of a Halloween expression. He's got butterfly joints. And the pauldrons slide out of the way to allow him to have a really good wingspan. He has double elbows, but he can't bend them all the way because of the armor. Elbow swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Mid-torso rocker. Blends in with the rest of the armor. Good twist. The belt, it looks like it's molded on or glued on. So no slipping there. No getting out of position. These float over the legs, so no blocking there. Ball jointed legs. Thigh swivel at the armor. I'm not sure if it's going all the way down to the leg or just the armor swivels to cover that. Because the leg is single jointed, or the knee is single jointed, but it does have a knee swivel right in there. Ankle hinge. And ankle rocker. Holy smokes. I found the Stormtrooper center of gravity and was able to make him look like he's breakdancing, where he'll remain for the rest of the review. Look at him breakdance. Look at him go. Man, the desk is a little bit fragile, so when I push on that thing moves. But he's up pretty good, so hopefully he'll stay like that. Or he'll fall immediately. Who knows? As for the Clone Commando, he looks animated, just like he does in the animated series. So it doesn't look as realistic as the other ones. What I mean is his proportions are slightly larger in places. Most notably kind of the armor, the head. The backpack is cartoony a little bit. I mean, this could absolutely be something that they used in a movie. Fantastic. But it is an animated character. But it just looks incredible. I love the look on the visor. I love that point of difference and how the light bounces off the visor. Sort of gives it a lot of life. I like that same sort of Stormtrooper expression and the holes in the mask for where you would modulate or you would talk. They all have that to a lesser degree. The Stormtrooper has sort of a center one with two smaller ones on the side, and the AT-AT driver also has that. The Clone Commando comes with a blaster that isn't like the other blasters that the Stormtrooper and the AT-AT driver have. It's more of a specialized, like he's a Clone Commando. He should have a different blaster that does something completely different or has sort of a different function. As for the backpack, I don't know what its function is or what it does. I can't remember. I haven't seen the second season of Bad Batch. It's been off the air for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. But the backpack is really cool. I don't know what it does. Do these pull out or at all or anything? No, they don't pull out. Are they like levers? No, they're static. Okay, they're static. So the Clone Commando is just a very classic looking figure. It's the whites, the blacks, and the blue in the visor, which is really cool. So let's go over the articulation for the Clone Commando. So head down. Head up is more looking straight ahead. It's a little up. It's okay side to side. The pauldrons move, so he can get his arms really out there. Great wingspan. Single elbow because of the armor, but I don't know if it would be different. No, it's single elbow. Single elbow. And he's got an elbow swivel, which means that the Stormtrooper didn't have a double elbow. It just had the single elbow because he had the elbow swivel also. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Mid-torso rocker. Lots of motion with that. You can twist it. Ball-jointed legs. Thigh swivel because of the armor. I don't think it's the leg itself, though I'm not sure. It feels like there is a little give under there. The kneecaps stay where they are. They're attached to the upper armor, and you get single leg with a knee swivel. Ankle hinge and ankle rocker. Holy hell, I have found the balance points for both of them. Wow, they look like they're dancing together. Maybe they're breakdancing for some Imperial gala? For the entertainment of Lord Vader. Okay, let's jump into the AT-AT driver, because he's easily my favorite army builder. The AT-AT driver comes with a standard blaster. Comes with an assortment of hoses that were always very cool. The pilots, the TIE pilots, the AT-AT pilots, all kind of come with tubing, which is kind of cool. They're dropped from deep space, so I think the AT-ATs come down on transports and things, so they're partially sort of starship pilots for a little bit. This is, I think, new. I don't think the old one had sort of a panel that you could look at, which is really cool. The helmet has some little details, the red dot. This canister is a little bit different from that canister, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. It's got the Imperial logos right on the helmet, of course. It's got the cool, it's like flight gear, it's like X-Wing gear, but again, the AT-ATs are kind of dropped from space, so they're not like, you know, they're not built on a planet and then kind of delivered there. They're sort of piloted there, I think. As I'm saying that, I'm like, where did I get that idea? But I think that's canon. It's got a little bit of green on the gauntlet here. Might be a communications device or something else. A lot of little detailing on whatever this is, the rebreather or whatever conditions the air to go through. And you know, I'm sure the planets that they visit, not all of them have breathable oxygen. They probably wipe out a lot of people who can't breathe regular oxygen. They need to be ready to murder everybody at a moment's notice. Now, this one doesn't have pin elbows, but it does have pin legs, which makes me think that the bottom part, at least, of the AT-AT driver is reuse. Man, there's no way for me to know one way or the other, and I don't have the original to compare. But let's go over the articulation on this one. Just a tiny bit of head up, an okay amount of head down, pretty good side to side. Just be careful, the hoses kind of get in the way sometimes of that. His pauldrons slide right out of the way too. They become part of the backpack and kind of slide out of the way so that his arms can go out. He has a really good wingspan. He has a single elbow and an elbow swivel, a wrist swivel, wrist hinge, mid-torso rocker right under the flight gear, so it's really well hidden. A lot of twist out of it. Ball-jointed legs, thigh swivel, double pin knees, ankle hinge, and ankle rocker. And that is the Star Wars The Black Series Army Builders. That the Stormtrooper, the Clone Commando, and the AT-AT driver. I swear, before I started re-recording, I had the AT-AT driver up on 1 foot too. Then he knocked over the Clone Commando, and I thought, that's enough of you, mister. So he's on 2 feet. But I swear to God, I had all three of them sort of in a one-legged pose. And to prove it, maybe that'll be the image that you found this video on. You'll go, why are those Stormtroopers dancing? And the answer? I don't have a good answer. They just are. Because they like it, and because sometimes the Death Star throws balls. It is a giant disco ball, after all. Giant disco ball in space. That's right, that's your next AI assignment. Give me a Death Star disco ball in space. Just kidding, I've never done one of those before, so. But that would be a first, and that'd be very cool. Do it. Do it. So, until next time, super enjoy your toys.